Hey, you're listening to the Trekking Tweed Get on the Fells podcast, where we're bringing you the blood, sweat, and tears straight to your ears. Enjoy! Messing about, I'm like, oh, my blisters and the IT band's in pain, and you've rolled a go-kart over the top of your head.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man up, bro. Man up, tweet it. So, I am with Mr. Phil Brown. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. You?
Very well, thank you. Slightly envious of your two bikes set up behind.
Yeah,
This
you
is
wouldn't be
my-
envious of the bill.
No, this is my list of achievements here, and yes, probably well, it's probably a bad bill. So, Phil, thank you. First off, before we start, this is the first one. You are my sacrificial lamb to the slaughter.
I couldn't think of a better participant, if I'm brutally honest.
Well, you speak better than I do, and you've got, judging from the producer's information that I gathered, you've got a nice load of questions and achievements. So the premise of the podcast is to speak with people I know, people I don't know, and just get their history, really, what makes them tick, how they do it all, and from the questions that we'll ask you, that's the vibe, really. So, and just nice to actually see you, because I think the last time I saw you was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been surprisingly in a pub,
Yeah.
with some very questionable Christmas jumpers on.
Well, mine are never questionable. They are always dazzling. You know, this is not a Christmas jumper, but it certainly is dazzling. Yeah, and I think we played football, five-a-side football. Oh, what? Till I was 24, so it's got to be 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago, when you were the keeper, weren't you?
Yeah, the cat. Yeah, I was.
Last year we did win one of the leagues, didn't we? So
Yeah, I think we went. One was it like the Division 5 league at the time in like the Wednesday night, and then we got moved up. But then I think we met our matches in that. Well, I think we found our level playing field, shall we say?
that was the season when Darren Simpson, who will be linked below, broke his ankle, and we improved after said ankle breakage, and then we met our match when he returned. I think he's the reason why.
Yeah, definitely. He was the midfield kingpin, shall we say?
I can't remember him ever playing a game. I can remember him being the manager and just saying, "Do this, Tweedy, do this, do this, do this," because I was just the legs.
Well, it's because normally he didn't stay on the pitch long enough, so to have an impact, he'd come on, and then the ref would ask him normally to leave.
Yeah.
After a short period, so that's probably why he never thought he actually played.
Yeah, he was always sent off, wasn't he? Although you being the cat was good practice for you, I should imagine, because did you play football 11-a-side then, or anything?
Yeah, so
so
pretty much from coming out of college, I went and started playing 11-a-side, and I think at the time you had to be 17 or something. So I may have had a slip with my pen on the signing on form.
Really? 17? Really? That's crazy.
Sure
I was like 15 and a half for the chippy.
Yeah, well, I think with the Hangover League, the Sunday League as it was back then, but everybody referred to it as the Hangover League because it's the only condition you could physically play it in was normally hungover. I think you had to be 17 or something like that. So I got told, and I went and played that till I was 21, 22, and then stumbling across you like one night in a local watering hole, got roped into playing Wednesday night 5-a-side, and then I dabbled again in the 11-a-side stuff. But
did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just too old and too slow, believe it or not.
I don't believe that. No, or not hungover enough. Was that the?
Oh, yeah. Let's not go into that bit on the hangover statuses of some of the games I played in.
Well, with you with a hangover, I always I weren't too bad with a hangover. I tried things because I didn't really know what was going on. I would try tricks and whatever, and not feel the pain of the abuse that I used to get.
Well, it was all right until obviously the keeper launches that first kick out of his hands on a freezing cold October morning or whatever when we used to play, 'cause I can't quite remember the league's run, and then you used to stick your nut on it, and your ears would still be ringing 40 minutes later. That's when you know that you've had a good night out.
Yeah, and the reason you can't remember that is because you've got dementia from the football that you've headed.
Yeah, from said heading injuries. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, I never really went up for a header because, being the hobbit that I am, I wouldn't win one.
Don't really want to get involved with that bit. Might cause a bit of controversy with the vertically challenged comments.
Yeah, you giants. Well, we can't insult anybody, can we, with comments anymore? So, giants, hobbits.
Yeah.
So, have you strategically put the bikes there, knowing you would be on there, or you're going to be doing?
No, mate. No. This is my pain cave. This is where the magic happens. If I was on MTV, so we do our Zwift sessions in here. You can't see it, but just out of view, there's a treadmill here as well.
Nice.
So I can do some run sessions a couple of times a week. The Speed Up gang get together, do some Zwift sessions for an hour, and if the weather's really bad like it has been of late, then we'll probably do some longer rides at the weekend.
Yeah.
Anything up to 100 miles on the turbo. So 5 hours, something like that, in a stationary bike. But we do messenger calls and Zoom calls and things like that just to break it up and have a bit of banter.
Yeah,
so it's all good. Yeah.
Do you do any emails while you're there? You just multitasking?
No, works strictly off. No emails, no nothing. It's all
phones
business.
On airport mode, airplane mode.
Well, I have to run my Zwift off my phone, so that's why I never get disturbed, because that powers my Zwift, and I can get away with it.
That's why you never answer my calls on a Saturday.
Very much so, I'm afraid, mate. Yeah, it's all business.
How do you do? Does Jane come in with some hydration then, like at 50 miles, like a cup of tea? Or
no. Normally there's like a little pop-up table next to it, and I'll probably have 6 bottles of drink, some gels, bit of solid food,
water
blackjacks.
A big water jug, just
yeah, I could do with it sometimes. Water, high five, various bits and bobs, gels, bananas, flapjacks, Haribo.
Maybe there's a business idea for some kind of hydration drip for indoor cyclists.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here first, peeps.
There you go. There's the we'll call it the catheter bag. That'll fuck off. Do you use Tailwind then?
No, I don't. No, I've a couple of the lads have used it in the club, and they seem to get on with it pretty well. But I've always been a high five man. So I've used various ones. I've used Power Bar. There's one that I used to use years ago called Lepin, but that seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. But I've tried the SIS, but I find that really gritty. But High Five it just seems to sit on my stomach so much better. And 50, 60 mile into a ride, you want something that's just going to sit nicely.
Yeah, you don't want any.
And especially if you get off the bike and then you have to run as well, so you want gels that sit quite nice. And High Five do a nice, like they call it aqua, so it's like it's basically like water.
Yeah.
So if you find the normal gels are a bit too heavy, use those because they're a bit more easy to absorb.
Nice, and probably gets in the system a little easier as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you go from playing football to, well, you weren't the fittest of chaps, let's be honest. You were good, but I wouldn't have said Phil and then 100 mile on a Saturday on a bike, really. How do you go from that guy to that guy?
I'm inclined to agree, if I'm honest. So there was a bit of a various path to get to the try from the football. So I used to play the football pretty much straight from school. I was always active, couldn't really ever stop still. And if I was at home when I was younger, I was on my bike. And you'll probably know, like, nobody would know this, but like there's a thing called Second Brook down the lane. Yeah. And we used to go down there catching bullheads and sticklebacks in the brook and all that sort of stuff. Always on my bike, always doing something. and then I sort of went from cycling, well, sort of football to the five-a-side. Then I did some climbing, and then I did some bit more cycling, and then I just went to golf, then to motorsport.
I remember the golf thing in our chats over the years at work and stuff. I remember the golf, but the climbing, I never twigged with that. Like you did you climb often, or just a little bit of a hobby every now?
It was more of a hobby. I wouldn't say it was like a massively regular thing, but we used to go out a lot. So again, I sort of just stumbled across that one because like one of my ex-partners, her cousin, big climber, climbed in Nepal and all over, and done all the Three Peaks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And ended up getting roped in, pardon the pun, to going on a few sessions over at the Tower in Leicester.
Yeah.
And sort of just enjoyed it, bouldering, and then started doing some of the bigger stuff. And then the outdoor stuff, there's Markfield Quarry near Colville.
Yeah.
Some 20 years ago, some of the fence had been knocked down, so you could go in and up. There's loads and loads and loads of routes there. In fact, there's the handbook. They were saying that there was some of the best like HVSs, hard, very severe climbs in the UK in their book. And I did a few of those, and they were really good.
Yeah,
really good fun. And then we did various walks in the Lake District for children in need and things like that in the winter, which was good. But obviously, being with Nathan, a very experienced climber, me very inexperienced, I ended up on all the ridiculous routes with him.
I know the vibe there. I've been shoved up Markfield Quarry before with and Stanage Edge as well, with very little experience.
Yeah, so Stanage Edge, I've never climbed. I've been there. Nathan took us there on the way back from a business trip. But the Markfield Quarry was brilliant because they had the big baptism traverse, and then there was a few big HVSs. There was an E1 there. I mean, I don't know what the grading is now, because every time I see like a grading system, it seems that everybody's gone to the European, which is like 5.23 F or plus or minus or something like that. So I don't really know.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to a climber for the grading systems, because I just don't know. I'm all of the V5, V3, what the V, and then there's the European and all the other crazy grades. So we'll get someone on to chat that, and then you can understand what severity that Nathan was shoving you under, and why are you trying to put me up there? Yeah.
Well, the hardest one I did was an HVS. So if I remember rightly, HVS is hard, very severe, and then it goes into E numbers. Once you go into E numbers, that's like climbing on glass.
Yeah.
Effectively. Yeah. So that was the hardest one I ever did. After that, I was like, that's my limit.
Did you get any vertigo or anything?
No, never experienced any of that.
I always thought I was like adventurous, and then I got shoved on trying to do some abseiling somewhere, and I was just like, my body was shaking with the fear of heights, which I'd never really sort of experienced. I think I was about 15, 16, just doing Elvis poses on top of a crag. Like, what for me, lads? Like something to get the fear over with, I think. Which I'm working on.
I love it.
This was the year to do it, actually. Outdoor climbing and rope climbing, bit of things have happened, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely.
So you also like to keep yourself closer to the ground, segueing nicely to motorsport. And what did you do with the rubber wheels?
So again, another one where my brother started karting initially, and when I watched him a few times, and he was loving it.
Go-kart.
Yeah, go-karting. Yeah. So my brother started off with basically a very basic kart with like effectively a lawnmower engine in it, Honda GX 160s, I think they're called. And he just tootled round Stretton International, which is just down near Broughton Astley from us. And he seemed to love it. And then he progressed, and he got like what they call a junior Rotax engine, so like 125cc, and had like a restrictor in it just to bring the power down a little bit.
Yeah. And
then at the time, I was getting a little bit bored with golf, and my dad was like, "Oh, why don't you come and have a go?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come and have a go." So as you do, go down, have a bit of a play. I've got
Well,
quite an
golf
addictive.
spoils a good walk, doesn't it? So.
Well, it does indeed, and I've got quite an addictive personality. So I had a crack at it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying this. I enjoy it. I think this was around 2006, something like that.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, "Why don't you come and have a go on like the proper stuff?" And I was like, "At the minute, I can't really afford it, Dad." And he was like, "I'll buy you a cart. Don't tell Mum. You know, I'll sort that out, and then you come and get
Mum
your
now
license
knows.
and all that sort of stuff." Yeah, Mum now knows. And then sort of stopped playing golf and started doing that a lot more. And then we went down a circuit called Wilton Mill. So you have to go and take your license and get a license to race. And did all that and loved it. And then sort of ended up going, I was getting hammered every week in this class I was racing in, purely for the fact because of my height and my build.
You're a
So
tall,
a
tall, skinny guy, and
yeah, I'm like
little
6.
whippersnappers.
Well, I'm 6'2", 6'3", and I was racing in a class where like some of the drivers are like maybe 5'6", 5'7", but their weight is also reflective of their height, so they're dead small and tiny.
Yeah.
And
Maybe I should have gone into go-karting.
You'd have loved it, mate. You'd have been all right. And
too heavy for a jockey, but probably go-karting.
Too heavy for a jockey, yeah. And obviously with your Elvis vertigo, being up there on a horse might not have been the best place for you, mate.
Oh no, mate, no. Banging knees.
So my dad was like, I think we need to move you up a class because you're too big. And then there's a class called Rotax Max 177. So the driver has to be 85 kilos and the combined weight of the cart and the driver has to be 177. Hence the name. And we started racing in that. We started getting some results. And my dad was like, I think we need to go to a circuit in Lincoln called PFI International. And I already knew it's like where all the big boys and the big wallets go and play.
Yeah.
So we went up there and we sort of had a crack at the championship and I managed to win it in 2008.
Just slides that in there nicely. 2 years later, just won with the big boys and the big wallets.
Yeah. So won the championship there. And then 2009, I think I was sitting second in the championship, but then circumstances meant I lost my better paid job. And when you're doing like 400 quid a month karting, and trust me, that sounds a lot, but that is cheap. I know people who are doing like 4K a weekend.
Yeah.
So
tires, fuel, engine,
accommodation, bent bits when it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
Which it did.
Yeah. I suppose one little prang on the corner or whatever against the wall or somebody else, it's costing money, ain't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then we then raced. I know you tried to find the footage, and I've tried to find the footage as well, but I can't find it. But I have raced at PF, and was on Eurosport as well because
you were on Eurosport, yeah.
Yeah. And what annoys me even more is on the Saturday, you do your qualifying and your pre-racing. All the main files are on the Sunday.
Yeah.
On the Saturday, I qualified 6th or 7th on the grid. And going down into the first corner on the second lap, I got whacked and knocked all the air out my tyre. So I had to come in. So then when I started the main final, I had to start from the back. So it looks like I qualified for the final at the back, but I was actually right at the business end. And I think I started about 28th or something. I managed to finish 11th.
So, if you were 6th or 7th at the start, who knows what could have gone on?
I'd have probably finished 11th.
There was 16 others that were worse than me. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And the infamous kart roll.
Yeah,
was actually at PFI.
Really? Tell a bit more of that story. I'm well intrigued about the go-kart rolling. No halo protection system back then with, only go-karts.
No, nothing, mate. Nothing at all. So it was at PF and it was Kart Masters. And it was all the qualifying and all your heats on the Friday. And then some of the pre-finals were on the Saturday and you did your main finals on the Sunday. And I caught a slower driver up and it was literally my last lap before the flag. and I caught this slower driver up, and I went to outbrake him into a corner. And what
Yeah.
he did was he moved across the circuit,
Yeah.
which put me on the curb. And as soon as it hit the curb, my cart went up, hit his, and then just flipped me straight over. Bounced across the circuit, sat up thinking, "Oh, that went all wrong, didn't it?" And then and you know, because I'm a considerate kind of guy, I did decide to crash right next to the ambulances.
Oh,
So the paramedics whipped over, and they were like, "You all right?" I was like, "Yeah, feel fine."
didn't
And then
even
went
need
to
the
move,
ambulance.
and then went to move. And I was a bit like, "Nah, something's not quite right." And he
Oh,
had a prod and a poke, and I bust my rib when I
yeah.
rolled across the circuit. So yeah, that was very unpleasant sleeping in the caravan that night, I can assure you.
And then you raced the following day.
No, mate, I was done. No, I couldn't race. I mean, my dad was like, well, because you have to wear rib protectors because the grip level and the bouncing around on the circuits.
Getting banged. The ribs is not a good place, and because the seat's tight to you, and the go-kart with the G-forces would be pretty hard on the ribs if they broke.
And I've got I had carbon fiber. That's not a specialist. Everybody pretty much uses them, like carbon fiber rib protectors.
Yeah.
And just pulling them on to do them up when we're back at the pits, because I'd done some damage to the cart as well. And Dad's like, "Don't worry about that. We can all them bits are fixable."
Your ribs are not.
How do you feel in the car? And I put my rib protectors, and I was like, that's just not happening.
Yeah.
So I sat and watched the finals, but hey, you know, it's all good.
Lesson learned. And you can. Which rib was it? Do you know? 7th.
My right one, about halfway down.
Didn't have it removed then?
No, mate, no. But to be fair, there's a massive lump on it, so it could have like a nubbin. Looks like Chandler, our friend's like a nubbin, is it? He's got a third nipple.
I don't know. I never really saw Chandler's third nipple. Maybe check. I'll have to check friends out just for the nubbin. Yeah, maybe you could send us a picture of that, and we could send it.
I'll find you the link.
Yeah. And here's me moaning about iliotibial band pain, and you've got a cracked rib. Can't even put your protective gear on for it. So.
No, mate, it's all relative to the person, ain't it?
Did it take long to heal? Like,
I don't. It's been that long now. I can't really remember. I don't think it really took that long to heal for the initial pain to go down.
Yeah.
But you know, if you had a bit of a bump or something, but like a few days afterwards, anything like if you felt a sneeze coming or anything like that, or a really heavy cough, so you know when you drink sometimes it goes down the wrong hole and you have like a bit of a coughing fit,
or someone makes you laugh, like
that didn't. That was all right. That was sore, but sneezing or having a coughing fit, that would proper hurt. But you know, it was good times. I'm just gutted I made the wrong move at the very wrong time.
And they're the fine margins, isn't they? With that, you know, different outcome. You don't know what would happen. And is that the same? Mate. That same weekend that Lewis Hamilton got his Formula One? Was that what you were saying as well?
The weekend I won my championship, the 2008. Yeah, that was when he won his first championship. So we were listening to it on the way back because Brazil, weren't it? Is it Interlagos? I think it's Brazil. Yeah, he won the championship.
We'll get him on.
Get him on.
He's reachable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the way to go and get into Formula One, though, isn't it? Get your dad to work 2 jobs and then thrash a go-kart around and take on the big boys.
Yeah, and then just go and tap on a CEO, chief executive's leg and say, "I want to come and drive your car, Ron Dennis."
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few funny tales about McLaren as well, because a friend of mine does some work for McLaren, and you think they're OCD at the circuit, you want to. Yeah. We'll talk about it on another thing, but the OCD at the factory is like next level.
I can imagine from the experience I've had from factories locally, you know, you are next level OCD. Everything is accounted for and measured and all those lovely stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just thinking, that's mad. that'd be me done. Sorry, Dad. No more for me. No, rolling the bloody.
I mean, I'd already had a smash the day before and had to put a new couple of replacement parts on. And what annoyed me even more is I just had my engine back from Paul Car Racing, who was our guys that we used to use for servicing our engines. And I'd like ripped the radiator off, spark plug off the top.
Yeah, after you having it back.
Yeah, smashed 2 rims up, bent axle, and 2 steering wheels gone because I damaged one in that accident, and I bent one in the accident on the previous day.
There's your money flying out, man. There's the money, isn't it? That's the
130, 140 quid for a steering wheel. You know, I just spent 500 quid having my engine serviced.
They get that.
But the racing there was nobody wanted to give you an inch at all. And if they couldn't take an inch, they tried to make the gap themselves.
Yeah.
But
hostile stuff then.
Yeah, Rubbin's racing, though, isn't it?
Right.
As I said at the time.
Is that one of the in Clixley? Yeah.
Racing Rubbin's
and all that. Do you ever take a whack or an elbow off somebody?
No. There's the odd hand signal, gesticulated around occasionally that you'd see like from other drivers. Yeah, normally a royal wave or that sort of motion.
Come on through, old boy. Come on through.
Yeah, there was that sort of stuff, and then there was the odd heated discussion. You'd like come into the pits, and there'd be 2 drivers squaring up to each other because one accuses one of the other, and
handbags.
Yeah, pretty much. After about a nanosecond, everybody's had enough, and everybody walks off back to the caravans and to go and repair what's broke. So, it's just how it is.
So, you were paying for that. You're a normal man with a normal job, aren't you? Or 2 jobs to pay for you. 1 job for your go-karting, and your dad's like spending all this money that Mum don't know about.
Oh, I think Mum figured out quite quickly where it was going.
You broke your ribs down second brook. How?
Yeah. Catching sticklebacks. What? Say what?
Yeah, they must be big now, those sticklebacks.
Oh, they're like this big one. You want to see the one that got away? That's why I broke my rib trying to hold it back.
Snapped his leg off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice that did you get sponsored by anybody or anything like that? Just all self-funded?
Everything self-funded, no sponsorship.
How about now? You got all this Speed Hub wear I keep seeing. Is that self-funded as well? That's just
self-funded as well, mate. All of it. Yeah.
They should throw you a few T-shirts if we get a few thousand views on this for it.
Yeah, too right. Oh, don't worry. I'll be letting Tim know. I've obviously known him 20 years now, so I can be a little bit cheekier.
Yeah. Sort him out, Tim. Come on. I've put an order in for a bike and a load of gear from yourselves later on. So.
Yeah, good lad. Yeah, I'll make sure that goes through at zero values, sir.
Yes,
as always. Yes. I'll get the odd bit and stuff, and he helps out and all that jazz. He's a good lad.
That's cool, man. That's cool, yeah. And a lot of the boys, even when there's Zwift and everything, you've got the Speed Hub there and all that. So the name's getting out there, isn't it? So it's good that he's chucking.
Oh yeah, I mean, Speed Hub's been going. I want to say about 7 or 8 years now, I think. And he started that as a one-man band thing, and it's going really well. He's really popular for the bike fitting, and he's offering other services as well. So some analysis on footwear. Got different footwear brands in, different bike brands. You know, he's got something for everybody and caters for all price ranges. So yeah, really good. And then we started the tri team off the back of it. And we do a race each year called the National Relays up at Nottingham. It's just like a team of 4, and it's a relay format, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's really good fun. You know, the first year we went, we had like 2 teams, and 2019. So we had 9 lots of 4 races. So it was brilliant. It's a great laugh.
Yeah, well, I'll get the links off you, and we'll do a little bit underneath with the links and everything to try and sign that up. Because that sounds like something I might be able to get into.
Yeah, do it, mate. Honestly, the great thing about it is, and the great thing about the triathlon in general is how inclusive it is. And there's very little egos from what I can see.
Yeah.
You're always going to get the odd crap.
Competitive ego, I think,
Yeah.
sometimes can come across as ego, can't it?
Yeah, it's,
Someone
confidence.
trying their hard, yeah.
And it's just such good fun because everybody gets encouragement, whether you're the guy that's just won the race or you're the person at the back, everybody gets the same shout. And at races, because we run races as well,
Yeah.
the guy that comes over the line or the girl that comes over the line in their respective categories, they'll get the cheers, and nobody leaves until the last one's come over, and they'll get the same amount of cheers.
Same,
It's just brilliant. I love
ultra,
it.
yeah, with the ultra vibe as well, isn't it? It's that same, that you finished it other than what times you were doing and all of that ego stuff. So that's great. That's great. That is.
It's brilliant, mate. I absolutely love being a part of it. It's good fun. It's a lifestyle choice as well, pretty much like the ultra running will be. You got to really apply yourself to it for the demands.
Yeah, I've found that I've sort of signed up to the race. I thought, it would be a great idea. I'll do a few runs and we'll crack on with it. And then all of a sudden, after a few weeks, I'm looking at training plans and I'm doing 3 sessions a week of strength and conditioning, or reading all these books and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm in. I'm hooked. What's what's going on there?
That's what happens before you've pulled into it, and you're reading and you've got apps for everything on your phone.
Yeah.
You're looking at every sort of training technique. You're looking at every different shoe. You're comparing, what does that one give me that this one don't? You're looking at like different.
Well, your diets and food and everything. That's it's just that's how you get hooked with these hobbies, though, isn't it? I suppose in our nature as well, we're very, you said earlier, addictive. The addictive nature of
I've got an addictive personality. That's my trouble. So, when I started at golf, I wanted to try and get to a level if I could. I wanted to try and get to single figure handicap.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get there. I got down to 13, which is, it's a pretty decent handicap for golf. Karting, I just wanted to be competitive, and obviously ended up doing pretty well at that.
Yeah.
And this, and triathlon, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be ever at the pointy end, but I'll look good going at the back. So
yeah.
I'm quite happy with that.
It's such a hard one, isn't it? Triathlon. I mean, I went swimming with you. Remember we went swimming once when I had dreadlocks, and you think, I can do the swimming, and then when grandmas are going by you, and I'm like 3 laps, I think I did, and I was out of the pool. Catch you later, Phil. I'm done with this. Can't breathe.
Well, obviously it's such a cardiovascular exercise, and it uses a lot of muscles just to get you going.
Yeah.
And one of the big things about swimming is the more you try and fight the water, the slower you'll go. It's
smooth.
It's like reverse psychology. If you try and hammer it, forget it. You got to try and really slow it down, just get nice and smooth, nice and consistent, and you'll go quicker. So
fluid.
Yeah, it's one to work on. Yeah, fluid. Yeah, it's one to work on.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I don't think I've swam since then. Properly.
When I get back in the pool, it'll probably feel like I haven't swum since then as well, if I'm brutally honest.
The picking the brick off the bottom of the. You like you're a training plan kind of guy. You've been doing it a fair few years now, haven't you? So I suppose you know your body and what training you do, and with the wider team that you've got. And I think when we spoke last, you were actually training with some legit guys that have really improved your times for it all, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, the good thing about our club is we've got everybody. We've got a guy that was a pro, all the way down to people that want to join the club but not necessarily want to do tri. They might just want to do a bit of biking, but they want to be part of a team culture, which is fine. So for the training plans, I normally try to work on like if I'm going into a race, it'd be like a 16-week program. And that'll be a 3-week build, 1-week recovery format. And I'll follow that all the way through. And then obviously you get a bit closer. The last 2 weeks will be tapering. So you'll shorten probably the length of the sessions, but just add a little bit of intensity in it. So you're a little bit fresher.
Yeah, cool.
And then some of the lads that we're training with, some of them have been trying to adapt this the maffetone training program process.
Right.
So it's your Yeah. So it's your current age minus that from 180, and that's like your maximum. You don't really go over that. So that's like that should be like your aerobic base, so you can get a
Oh, you
real
told me
good.
about this. Yes.
Yeah. So some of the lads are doing that, and you know you do a test, and then if you're new to it, you can there's variables for increasing
Yeah.
it by 10 beats or reducing it by 10 or 5 or
Oh,
whatever it be at the time. And some of the lads in the club, I mean, they're flying, they're running one like 1 mile in like in the sixes, in the
yeah.
6 minutes pluses. And then one of the lads he ran the other night, ran 10 miles of the day at I don't know, about
Yeah.
7:23 pace or something, and his heart rate was about 140 something.
Yeah. Fit.
Um,
Fit then.
but you know, he's pretty handy. I think I think running's in his blood. His dad was like a 1:12 half marathon runner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
Wow.
ain't going to be far behind him either. So I always work on those sort of training programs, but everybody's different. And the one biggest thing is if you're looking for a coach,
Yeah.
you've got to get a coach that buys into your values as well. You've got to take into account your family, your work. I know
Body as
some
well.
coaches. Yeah, I know some coaches that just want to bang you full of intensity, and I've known people leave them because they're absolutely cream crackered.
Yeah.
I've known other coaches go the other way and gone not so much intensity and more base miles, but
Yeah.
then they've found like they've not seen the results, so they've moved away from them. And you
Yeah.
get athletes
Yeah.
that might want to do short, sharp intensity sessions or longer intensity. So everybody's different, but you've just got to find what works for you and
Yeah.
get somebody to buy into your values. At the end of the day, you're paying, they're offering you a service, and
You're
you've
the
got to,
customer, aren't you? Yeah.
yeah.
And you want to see results. That's the
Well,
main
that's the
thing.
big thing.
Whatever
You
the
know, if you're
results
paying,
want to be.
yeah, if you're paying, some coaches can be crazy money, but if you're paying 200 quid or 100 quid or whatever it is, it shouldn't really matter what the numerical value is. You just want to see return on your investment in a
Yeah,
sense.
definitely. How would someone get into the triathlon gig? Is it like do you have the same setup as the go-kart with the lawnmower on the back? Get yourself an old rickety rally
Yeah,
chopper and
to be fair, mate, it's not far off.
the old
The
what's it? Budgie smugglers and a rally chopper and a pair of old plimsolls from college.
from kind of old Blackfoot slip-on
That's a
plimsolls.
challenge. You should try
Wow.
it. Get on to Tim. I want a race that's plimsolls, rally chopper, and then budgie smugglers. Yes,
Yeah. Well,
Portugal.
yeah, definitely. So for getting into it, really, it's pretty much that what you just said. Firstly, if you want to get into a local club for advice, have a little look around the Facebook pages, have a quick Google search. I think if you
Yeah,
go on British Try and put in where you're based, it'll give you clubs around where you are. And then pretty much after that, it's just go out and have a go at it. Just get out and enjoy having a swim, enjoy having a ride on your bike and
that's
just
it.
having a
Isn't
run. As
it?
long as you've got a bike, trainers, and some swimming goggles and a pair of budgie smugglers that you seem to be obsessed with, um, you know, crack on and just get out there and enjoy it. As you'd say, get amongst it.
Yeah.
Um,
Got it in.
yes, get it in there, mate. Get it in there. Um, and then secondly, it's how far you want to go with it, and thirdly, it's how much you want to. It's as cheap or as expensive as you want to make it.
Oh yeah.
If you want to go in there and you want to have all the gear and no idea, then go for it. If you just
Yeah.
want to,
You can really spend some money because you got the three formats, haven't you? So
yeah, oh
look,
mate,
Leicester.
you can spend some serious money, but you don't need to have Alistair Johnny Brownlee quality material to get out there and start enjoying it.
Yeah.
No, I remember one lad when he was just getting into it. So on the bikes, I've got like clipping pedals,
Yeah.
and at the time he couldn't, whether he couldn't afford them or he couldn't get on with them or whatever. And I kid you not, he had a pair of. You remember when you used to buy like cheap football boots? You could just easily unscrew the studs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The old metal pedals,
They're
the
Puma
front
Kings.
four. Yeah. So the front four studs on a football boot used to fit inside the metal pedals. So because
Yeah,
he didn't have them or couldn't afford them, he just used to use football boots. But let me tell you now, on a 10-mile time trial,
yeah.
he weren't hanging around.
He was smashing it with his old footballs.
Yeah, and
What's it?
the
Yeah,
same guy went on to represent Great Britain in his age groups, and he was brilliant. And he's from a local club down the road, smashing guy. And
yeah.
so, again, it's just get out there,
Do it.
enjoy it, have a crack at it, and get involved with some small clubs. Because a couple of the guys that we've got in the team, we just bumped into them in the pool, got talking. Oh, we're gonna have a go at this.
Yeah.
6
Oh,
years on,
there
we're
you go.
good mates.
Yeah, and that's the community what with most sports, isn't it?
Yeah, and
You can sit on your backside watching the TV, or you can just go on. Well, you're on Facebook anyway, just having a
yeah.
look. Oh, I'll give that a go, and you don't know where it leads you. You know.
No, there's another one of the lads. He started trying just a little group of them doing this couch to 5K, and I think there was some runners that didn't want to go to a running club because they were
Yeah, you might get
probably
a bit.
not happy with themselves and they probably felt very intimidated and they just wanted to get moving. So my mate started doing this thing with them, and I just happened to bump into him one night on the way into the pool, and Barnes, was just asking him how my training was going. Yeah, it's okay, done X, Y, and Z. And one of the guys was like, that's too quick. That's too quick. That is. I says, hey, don't worry about where I am. I says, think where you are and
Your
where you
journey.
can go. I says, at the end of the day, you're here, ready to go for a run, and you're going to lap everybody that's sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
So,
man, I like that. Yeah,
so don't worry about what others are doing. Just focus on you. And the more you get out, the miles will come and the speed will come as well, and the times will come down. So just keep doing what you're doing. It was like, oh, cheers, mate. Yeah. And then they all went off having a nice, good laugh and a run.
you said that with me early on. The consistency with just doing it, being there, showing up.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
You're faster than the guy on the couch. That's it.
And it's so true.
Okay.
Consistency is key as well. And I'll be the first one to admit I was shocking at it, and I've been a lot better over the last 2 or 3 years, and that's helped me a great deal. So just keep turning up, listen to your body, and some days you're gonna think, you know what, I'm gonna have a crap session today, and it could be the best one you've had in a long time. And some
Yeah,
days you feel
yeah.
amazing, and you get back and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Because I feel absolutely shattered. Just listen to your body and get out there, mate, and enjoy it. It's the
That's
best thing
it.
you can do.
And be patient with that body as well. Sometimes. That's
Yeah,
something.
patience is key, especially if you've been injured. And let me tell you, now after 3 ripped calves and an Achilles problem, I know all about patience.
Mate.
So yeah, it takes a long time for getting it sorted, and sometimes it's also about finding the right person to help you recover,
Mm.
the right physio, and getting the right advice from the right people. Well, luckily, I've found a woman that I've pretty much paid that much money to. I think I've put her kids through college, but
We'll put a
she's
link onto
brilliant.
her as well, and she can repay you with a free session. With
Yeah. I'll drop you the link, mate. I'll let you know the link. But yeah, she's brilliant, and
I
I was
think
having.
I've been meaning to come down and see her for 2 years. It's got to be 2 years from when we were speaking, and then we with my relocation, and then the lockdown happened. You've always when I've
Yeah.
oh, my physio will sort out your shoulder when you're climbing and all this, and I'm like
Mm.
trying my hardest to get down there. It's like the world
Yeah, old Boris is trying his best to keep you injured, ain't he, mate?
Yeah. He's just losing people money, isn't he? Bless him. Let's not talk about
Yeah.
Boris. Well, Boris has impacted everybody's lives with training plans and races. What did you
Yeah.
have planned this last year? Like,
So this last year, what did we have planned? So the big race was, I think it was going to happen in April last year, which was 70.3 Ironman Oceanside, California.
oh man,
So it was my mate Tim, the owner of Speed Up. It was his 50th birthday. So we planned to go Oceanside, go there, do the race where all the big boys and girls go and play, and then head on up to Vegas. And you'll be surprised to hear as well that I was going to go to the Oakley headquarters.
Why?
to check out their museum. You know, I don't even like Oakley. I don't know why I said that. So yeah, that was the plan.
It's a blast from the past. That is this.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
thought I used to like brands, one brand, and then you are Mr. Oakley always.
Yeah, definite. So yeah, there was that, and I think we were gonna do some more local races, and then probably try and get another half Ironman in later in the year, really, and try and really get these times down a little bit more. So we did the Cotswolds Classic, and anybody who's looking for a triathlon to do, go and do it. It's the best Cotswold Classic, mate. Honestly, the guys that organise it are absolute, just balls of laughter, full of encouragement. Really, really good race for the half Ironman distance.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a plan to do that and try and better my time and try and get a little bit quicker there. And then maybe we were thinking about one of the challenge events as well, because there's two big organisers, which are Ironman and Challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the real plan, but just get some consistency in and get some decent training and decent racing in. But obviously, that's all fell by the wayside. So I ended up doing some Zwift racing instead.
I think it's opened up with the Zwift and a lot of virtual racings. It's really opened that up now, isn't it? That's going to be something that will stay, I think, proper.
Oh yeah. I think Movistar, one of the world tour teams in like the tour, they're actually putting together, I think it's a 6-man team, 3 men, 3 women, fully loaded like e-racing series team.
Yeah, I was going to say an esports e-racing type of whole new genre type, sport.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got roped in with some of the lads from the club, and they asked me to go and have a couple of races with them, and we did pretty well. I think we were the top tri team in Europe for racing, and then we were something like 7th overall out of the clubs. But as for the main tri team, I think we came first, if I remember, in Europe. So, but some of the lads in that team, let me just tell you now, I was literally like the cannon fodder. I was just had to work as hard as I could for a bit and then pull off, because those guys were, they were fully loaded.
But those types of people they're inspiring, because it's like, look at these guys. How can I get that level?
Yeah. I mean,
you can get into it, you see them and you're like, oh, that's why I'm getting into this. That's why I do it. Meet that type of person that's kicking ass.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're inspiring on many levels as well, because they're doctors as well. So, they're doing all this COVID stuff. They're working in COVID clinics. They're coming on here and training. And even while I've been on the call, one of the lads has been trying to buzz me tonight because I want to speak to him about something.
Yeah.
Just seem to just have endless amounts of enthusiasm and help. And
yeah,
when I told him I've had an issue training, it's like, oh yeah, what you need to do is this, and this, and then have a listen to this podcast because that'll help you out even more. And then they're just full of knowledge, but they're also just really open to being spoken to. And these guys that have won races, they're GB athletes. They're they're the real deal.
They could be, shut off and no, you're not on my sort of area
level. You're on my level, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. How open the sport is, because I don't know a lot of information on triathlons, and my initial thoughts was just the EPO, and then all roadies and swimmers, and my ignorance to the sport was more like, oh, it's not that kind of ultra marathon vibe kind of culture. It's more of that kind of culture. But it's nice to actually understand, after speaking to you, it's a bit more open to diverse people.
Oh mate, honestly, it is as well. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be people out there that want to push the limits and the boundaries of what's acceptable. But you know, some of these guys in the club, and guys and girls, they're just absolute beasts. You know, we've got a girl in our club. I think their little one's now probably 6 months old.
Really?
She's training for an Ironman, and looking at her training, mate, she's absolutely killing it. She's like
6 months after childbirth.
Yeah, but she's so down to earth. She's wicked. She's a good laugh. You know, we've got one lad in the club. I'm sure he should have been born with gills.
Yeah,
because
maybe he has.
He might have, because we raced in Portugal for my 40th, and he went off in the first wave. So you had like the pro men go off, the pro women go off, and then the first wave of the others.
Yeah.
And he caught pro women. He's that fast at swimming.
Jesus.
And he's like, "Oh, well, I will help you work on your swimming, mate. I'll come down and train with you." I'm like, "Dude, you're lapping it like you're doing 100 meters in 53, 55 seconds, and I'm doing it in like 1:30, and I'm blowing out of every hole I can think of to try and get oxygen in."
1:30 is fast for you, and
Yeah. And he's like, "That's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. I'll come down and I'll help you." And that's the good thing about it. But if you look at that from when I was in karting, people used to tape parts of their casters like on the front, so when you can tilt your wheels in and out and all that sort of stuff for the wet and condition. People used to tape them up so nobody could see.
Yeah.
You'd like people would hide pressure gauges when they were putting air in the tires.
Yeah. Wow.
And you've gone from a sport that is literally like, we can't, you know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered, because I wouldn't drive the same as their driver, and I don't race the same as Matt, but he's willing to help you get quicker and better.
Yeah, sharing information. Yeah.
Oh, mate, it's brilliant. It's such a great sport.
I suppose that can stem from the companies, though. The big companies running motorsport wouldn't want to share secrets, because you're talking billions of pounds, aren't you? And it will just filter down that culture of like keeping secrets rather than helping a competitor that's a bit slower. Hey, mate, try pumping your tires up or down, or getting a bit earlier in the gearing in that corner and doing that.
Yeah.
Or try losing a bit of weight to help you know, all that. There probably does exist that, but some people are not, maybe. So
yeah, exactly, mate.
I'm just thinking, like, we've discussed pretty much everything that we've been chatting on. You're okay for time, or do you need to speak to your guy there?
No, I'm good, mate. The curry is currently cooking away and smouldering, so we'll
curry.
I'll
vegan curry, is it? Jackfruit vegan curry, maybe.
Sorry, mate. You seem to have broke up then when you said something.
Just I think I'll just reroute the router modem.
I think you said something about I think you said about V and something, and I didn't quite catch what you said.
The chicken's vegan, isn't it? That's right. Unless
I've no idea, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, curry, is that your staple? I've had a curry tonight, actually. That's it. Must be a Monday night.
Good lad. It's Monday night thing. Jane went for a walk after work, so when she come back, I'd done some strength and conditioning stuff tonight, and then we just chucked everything in. Well, say the royal we, chucked everything in to cook away. Bless her.
Your Majesty.
So yeah, Your Majesty. He'll be ready when we've finished on here, mate. So it's all good.
Excellent. It's a shame we can't send the smells and the vibes of the curry through the internet to the audience. I've just eaten, and that's making me hungry now. So,
well, I haven't had oats since about 12, so I need something.
It's a long old time, that is.
I know it's not the best way, really, to be fair. But finished work and did some strength and conditioning stuff, and then by the time I did that, I had a shower. We were here, so I'll grab something in a bit. It's all good.
That's life. What time do you get up for work?
Normally about 5:45.
Yeah, that's still pretty early, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, so on for 6:30, and then I start at 6:30 every day, but I have various finishing times.
Working from home.
Yeah, working from home. I've been working home since March. Just remember going in on the Wednesday morning and basically saying, grab your stuff, you're going to work from home for a bit. Thinking, back in the office by May, June. Didn't realise it meant May, June 21, but
yeah, that's crazy. I'm
So
sure I
yeah,
can
then
see a laptop adapter on the top of that bike. Sure, I can. I'm sure you're there pedaling away
well,
with you. You got your PC on there with work phone on top of your bike. Yeah, sure you could rig it up for working from home and cycling from home.
I could probably get away with it, to be fair, if I'm brutally honest. But you know, the beauty of having a nice work laptop is it's good for the Facebook messaging group when we do all our Zwifting sessions.
Yeah, Phil looks good over there in the UK in high definition. We need.
I don't think I'd look in any good in any definition, mate.
See how much he's sweating.
Well, when I'm in here, I have to turn the light off because I move everything into the middle of the room.
Yeah.
It's like like being under a heat lamp.
Oh yeah.
So the light has to go. The light has to go off, but it's got a pretty good camera on it for night vision and stuff. So, unfortunately, people can still see the horror that is me sweating. It's
you have all
not a
the
pretty
sweat
sight.
just dripping off the ceiling as well.
Well, normally I have to have the window open.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty warm in here and
It's a
sweaty.
thing to behold, isn't it? Training.
It's not a sight to behold. Let me tell you.
We've all been there in some right states. Not after 100 miles biking on a Saturday though.
Oh, that was all good. And I had a work call in the middle of it as well, and I had to sort some work problem out. So that was a bit of a problematic situation, but it was all good.
Oh, I'm working from home. I've just run up the stairs. Don't worry about it. Blowing out his proverbial.
Yes, definitely.
What do you do? Business system analyst.
Yeah, business system analyst.
You know, the first thing that comes to mind is the Dennis Nedry thing. Can you get hold of some dinosaur embryos from Jurassic Park?
Well, I can have a go. Nip down to the National History Museum in London or something, see what we can pick up. Yeah. They'll have it in the gift shop or something, won't they?
What? Sure. T-Rex embryo. I hope so. Yeah. Jurassic Park geekism there. So what plans have you got for this year now then? Is it just waiting for things to open up and then get involved, or have you signed up for any?
I haven't signed up for, well, funny story. Say I haven't signed up for anything.
Jane doesn't know yet.
Oh, Jane does, and Jane finds it quite amusing, to be honest. So out of the club, I'll probably put myself down as probably one of the worst runners going. So the gang of us decided that we should enter the London Ballot. And everybody's banged their email address in, and then
for the London Marathon, yes.
For the London Marathon, not the virtual, the actual on the road London Marathon. And so everybody's emails come down, the group chat lights. Oh, I ain't got in. I was like, oh mate, that's bad luck. It's a feel for you. So I thought, oh, better check see if I have. Funny story is, I got a slot. So I got a slot for the London Marathon.
Well done.
I'm potentially the worst runner. So I've got that booked in. That's all paid for.
They're like rocking horse poo, them tickets, aren't they? Bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, it annoys me even more. Well, not annoys me even more, sorry. It annoys my mate even more because he's tried 5 times and never got in.
Wow.
This is my second time I've got in. And one of our other mates in the club, he did it. He applied 2 years on the bounce and got in both times.
Wow. Straight like first and second try. Like.
Yeah, on the bounce. He got in both times. So I got that booked in. But as for other races at the minute, I'm not really sure what the gig is, to be fair, because I think what's going to happen is a lot of races are being moved. So a lot of races, obviously, last year all got pushed to this year. Things are still getting slightly pushed back to like mid-year. But what's going to happen, in how I see it, is all the races that got moved over to this year, they've already got a load of participants already involved with them because they've deferred their race to this year. So it means you're probably going to have a smaller open section of entries for each race. So and the back end of the year is probably going to be littered with loads of races. You're probably going to be spoiled for choice. But for me, one of the lads in the club, he keeps going on about doing like a Brecker style run in the lakes and in North Wales. So you swim part of the course, and then you get out, and then you'll run to the next bit where you got to swim. You jump back in, and
Then
the
do a
various
squat a bit
distances.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I fancy doing one of them just for giggles, because I think it'll be something a little different. And
Yeah, man, that'd be cool up the Lake District as well.
yeah, so you can get them at the lakes, you can get them in Scotland, you can also get them in North Wales. So there's a few to be going on with, but and again with those, there's some various distances that you can do.
Yeah.
So you can do like a what they'd probably class as a sprint, and then like a slightly longer and a slightly longer again.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at some of them maybe, but obviously with the amount of Zwifting we've been doing, you can do, there's two big climbs in France, Mont Ventoux and Alpe d'Huez, and they're replicated in Zwift.
Yeah.
And we've said, well, we've done them virtually. I think it's about time we did them for real.
Definitely.
So we're looking at trying to do some trips over to France maybe, and if and when we can and it's safe and all that jazz, do that. And then I've recently purchased a mountain bike as well, just to try and do something a little bit different and mix up the training and use different muscle groups and stuff. So yeah, it'll be good.
A mountain bike? Are you out of the club
Yeah.
now? Is that
No. It's a lot of us have got them in the club.
So I thought the boys might be like, what are you doing with that there?
No. I've had a few comments off some of my mates that do a lot of mountain biking questioning sock length. I'm not allowed to wear lycra.
No.
And all that jazz. So
Got to be Dickies, isn't it? You got to wear some Dickies and get some DC trainers.
Yeah, DCs as the fives, some baggy shorts, start shotting gnarly a lot, and cowabunga or something. Yeah, that was sick, and all that jazz.
The kids still say sick nowadays. I don't think it means what it really means, mate. But
no,
because of a certain
now I've got an 11-year-old daughter as well that's coming in and starting giving me all this lingo. I have no idea what she's on about, but she's
old. 11. Oh my god! What newborn when I last saw her? Surely.
Yeah. She's 11. Size, well, I think it's nearly a size 6 shoe now, and 5'5".
Yeah. Giant.
Yeah, well, the big strong milkmen around here, aren't they?
Wouldn't know, mate, because I'm definitely not the milkman's.
It must be the paper boys.
Yeah. We digress. We'll edit that, I think.
Yeah, cut that one out.
We're not even drinking. Like, we're not even on the beers.
No, mate. If I'd have been on the beers, it'd have been all over by now. I'd just been in a mess down there somewhere.
Yeah, I've found I've not really drank a lot since my little journey, and it's a couple of beers, and I'm all right. I'm good. I'm good there. Good with that.
Yeah.
Right, and Phil, shall we? You didn't give me your thoughts on EPO?
My thoughts on it.
Ever been offered any EPO?
No, never been offered any EPO. No PEDs. My thoughts on it is, if you're caught, that's it. You're done.
You're idiots.
You're out.
You're idiots.
You're out. There's no excuse for it. And if you're cheating, you're cheating. End of story. And obviously there's a slightly famous case that come out of America. Some guy called Lance. Not sure if you heard about it.
Yeah.
No, he was dabbling in that area, and he tried to come back to triathlon, and people were saying, oh, he's not doping anymore. It'd be good. He'd let him come back, but he's still doped, and his body still has the physiological effects of that doping.
Yeah.
So he might not be doing it now, but his body is adapted because of all of that. Yeah. So for me, no. If you're caught, you're caught. You're done. I think pro athletes need to be a little bit more aware. I recall some time ago, I think it was a Winter Olympics, a British girl, and she'd been using Vicks nasal vapor things over in the UK.
Yeah.
And then she went to America and she bought a new one.
In
And she
America,
got in America an American one, and she got caught out. She got
one of the substances were on the banned list that was in there.
Yeah, she got a failed test.
Yeah.
Now, was she conscious enough to know that and use that as an excuse? I don't know.
It's easy. It's an easy get out, isn't it?
It's an easy get out, but it could easily be done as well, because you'd probably just think, well, it's a VIX one. It's a VIX one. I'm buying a VIX one.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of stuff. But in my opinion, mate, if you get caught, you're done. That's it. There's none of this second time, second try. No.
Yeah, because there's a lot of second tries, and it's just sort of, hold on a moment. What about all the guys and girls who are grafting with, not even taking paracetamols just in case it comes up, or ibuprofen or whatever comes up in the drugs test, and they get caught out by, they're watching what they're eating and all kinds of stuff. It's
exactly. They're living it to like another level, being careful, and then you got some people that are literally just, well, whatever,
not bothered.
Just not bothered about it. I think I mentioned to you when we were texting about setting this up. I'm sure it was Panorama, and they had a guy on there who used to be like a Cat A rider, like semi-pro rider.
Yeah.
And he wanted to put it to the test and see how far he could push it. And he ordered EPO from China.
Yeah.
And it turned up encased in mobile phone cases. That's what it was packaged as. Wow. And had it tested, and it was the real McCoy.
Yeah.
And he microdosed. And then he was doing a video diary, and he just basically says, "I'm bored with riding with the lads because they can't keep up. It's just, I'm just too quick now. I've had the effects."
Yeah.
And he went to like Holland or Belgium or something, and they used the labs that test all the IOC samples when they used at the Olympics. And they ran the samples through, and he would have got away with it. If it had been actually in the Olympics and won a gold medal and got tested, he would have been clean.
Wow. So you could do it anyway.
I'll try and find the link for you, and I'll send it over to you.
Cool.
And there's another one as well. Watch Icarus.
On
Netflix. Icarus on
Netflix. Yeah. Somewhat. Yeah.
Because that's all about the Russian state sponsored doping plan.
Yeah, that was massive as well, wasn't it? A couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's.
Well, they're still being banned from all future tournaments and whatever.
Yeah, well, if you watch the documentary, the guy that headed it all up is actually in hiding somewhere, because he gave evidence against the state, and obviously you don't do that against the motherland, do you?
Oh no, you do not. Oh, so he's in hiding, or just generally missing in general.
I think at the end of the documentary, it says the US authorities have him in hiding.
And this, I mean, you go from plugging in your football boots to a bike to state-sponsored, what would you call it, mafioso, drug dealing kind of next level for sport. for
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the guy was actually encouraged for the Sochi Winter Olympics. His goal was to get them as many golds as he can, regardless of cost or anything. It was just, you can't come to our country and not be at the top of the table.
Yeah.
And he actually says in the documentary, the only reason he's still alive is because of how well he did with the program for Sochi. He says, because otherwise Putin would have had me.
That's some pressure.
Honestly, mate, watch it. It's an eye opener.
All for sport, all images for countries. Amazing.
Yeah, good propaganda, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes, that's alarming enough, isn't it? That, crikey, imagine being that guy, or those athletes. Meeting the presidents, and then you're almost going to be forced to do do it, aren't you, to get that next
Yeah.
level?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That brings on anxiety straight away. Yeah. Awesome, mate. Well, I think we'll leave that then, shall we? And then we'll get you back on when the world is a better place without any EPO and Putin and lockdowns, and we can get some
definitely.
race.
Well, more importantly, when we can actually do something, I'll come up to yours, and we'll go for a run and then do some more stuff if you want while we're out and about.
Sounds good. We can do a swim in British Camp Reservoir and a run along the top of the hills.
Sounds good to me, mate. Sounds good.
You're like, whatever, bro. I'll swim wherever, run wherever.
Yeah. Just cool. If we're good to go, we can do it in his room. Let's crack on, and we can
sounds cool.
Sync diaries, as they say.
Who says? Is that a kids thing as well? Link
up? I don't know. There's too much business BS knocking around, ain't it? You just hear too many blue sky thinking, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Let's touch base.
I don't do acronyms anymore. Yeah, touching base, pressing the flesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fats. Yeah.
Put it in the thought fridge. Snack on later.
Oh, that's terrible, isn't it? What's a?
Oh, mate.
I can't even say thought fridge.
Thought fridge. I couldn't even say it then, and I was trying to slow down to say it.
That's the Barwellianism that we have, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Here somewhere.
Because I can speak parcel tongue, I think that's what it is, you see. That's too much Harry Potter. That's the daughter effect, that is.
There's never too much Harry Potter.
Oh, mate. Loves it.
So do you. Everyone loves a bit of Potter.
Definite, without any shadow of a doubt. Holly loves it. We've been down to the
Leviosa.
Down to the old Leviosa. I've been down to the old studios, and we're going down again as well. Yeah, Holly loves it.
I'm trying to get down to Hobbiton at some point.
Hobbiton?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've watched them.
It was going so well, Phil.
Yes, last 5 minutes gone right down there. I'm
going to start the next one. I'm going to go, right, first question. Do you know where Hobbiton is? And if it's
New Zealand?
Yeah, it's in New Zealand. You used your wit there. Let's see. You just Googled it, didn't you? I saw that. I can see it in your glasses, but you're Googling it.
I've had to turn this screen off, actually, to be fair, because like on my glasses were just lit up with screens.
Yeah. Well, you got a double screen setup.
Yeah. Laptop this side, main screen that side.
Warzone on the other one with the Xbox. Yeah, that's it.
Oh no, I haven't actually got. Well, this game console I've got is a PS2. I don't even own it. I've got a gaming PC down here, but I mean, that
was a good one. The PS2. That was a good one.
It was like 20 years ago when it came out, probably. But now it's just a good collector
the black one
of dust.
With the grids at the front, weren't it? Sort of a grid.
Yeah. That's it. You could either have it standing up or lying down.
Proper console, that.
That's the only console I got. I don't really do much. I can't actually games console anyway because I can't do analog sticks.
No.
Useless at it. So that's why if I get
injuries.
Yeah, it's just go-karting RSI. So if I get a games console, I'll have to buy a keyboard and mouse as well.
Yeah, just get it on the old PC.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right then, Phil. I'll leave you to your curry, sir, and we will.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one.
Yeah, definite.
Yeah, man.
All right, pal. Cool. Take it easy. See you later, mate.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.